What is going on? Okay, so yeah, Lady Gaga news. Lady Gaga is offering $500K for the return of her dogs. Never mind the person, the human who got shot. Her dog walker got shot, and they made off with two ridiculous dogs. But those dogs are worth about $250K each. I wonder if they told her, okay, we'll give you one of the two dogs back. Which one do you pick? Make her choose her children, right? Ooh. The scandal. All right. So that's in Lady Gaga news. That's exciting. That's fun. We're going to talk about the Premier Pack, Series 2, drop number 1 of the NBA Top Shots. These little packs that we never can get. Alex and I have been trying for days going on weeks. Every day there's a drop. Every day we don't get it. We don't even get close. But today I think we might get close because these packs are $99. So I'm thinking that a certain percentage of people are like, $99 for some digital basketball cards. I am out. So yeah, but I'm going to do it. So that'll be fun. We'll mess with that later in the show. We're going to talk about Ethereum and the exodus that is happening. We're going to talk about all sorts of things, and we're going to go through the prices. That's always fun, always good times. So without further ado, let me say hello to Brandon, to Michael Murphy, to over on Clubhouse, Lori, Andrew, Brandon, Vic, JD, David, Ryan, Dwight, Angela, Armin, Ragnar. Oh, that's a cool name. B3, what up? And give me a second to touch buttons. For some reason, my other computer doesn't want to display the people that are here from Theta. Let's see. Okay. Yoheen, what's going on? All right, okay. Now we got our Theta feed. We're good. Skeptical Poo, what's going on? Tom, what's going on? So yeah, we're starting a little bit early today because we have the pack drop, and I want the packs. Stress Relief, Pasha, what's going on? Good to see all of you. Keep getting those sports cards. Market is still on fire. Yeah, I haven't been able to get any. That's the problem. We've been trying so hard. Let me see. Cabral da Danica. I'm sure that's what it is. I always get the pronunciation. You know, there's no hyphens. There's no anything. I just got to guess. It's incredibly confusing. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to roll the opening graphics so there's some semblance of a show, and we'll be right back before Grandma can light up another bong. Okay, let's take a look at prices. Let's get through them rather quickly. Oh, we don't have to get through them quickly. We'll just get through them. If you guys have questions, just write the word question or a big Q in a dash, and then I will see that. And that's great because then I will know that you have a question and I can answer it. Otherwise, yeah. Okay, what's going on in prices? The market right now, let's get down to the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin started to kind of move a little bit. The Bitcoin's doing all right. And right now, the Bitcoin is at $51,154. It's been floating all over the place. Wow, we just went to 51,162. It's up 2.6% on the day. Pretty cool. I've been trading all around it. Options. Demayan, what's going on? Dwight, what's going on? So it's very interesting from one day to the next, the way people panic and the dumb news articles that come out. It's getting to the point where I have to be very careful about what I read, especially what I read on Cointelegraph. Oh, God, these people don't know shit. It's not only that they don't know, they're extremely convicted in their ignorance. It's one thing if you're dumb, right? It's one thing if you're ignorant. Ignorant, you just don't have all that. You don't have all the data. You don't have all the information, right? But come on, dude. don't like hold up the torch and be like, rah, rah, rah. Like if the stuff you're saying is so dumb-minded, these guys. So just be very careful what you're reading, and always look at the bios. When these people make all these price predictions, look at their bio, and it's always like, I'm about to finish college in art history, and I also love crypto. Okay, then why the fuck are you giving financial advice? Come on, man. Stay in your lane. Okay. Bitcoin's 51,300. So it's having a pretty good day. It was in the 48, 49 range a little bit yesterday. I was trading options around it, which is the way I prefer to trade. I don't trade in and out of Bitcoin. I just trade in and out of the options around Bitcoin. Yeah, Charlie Munger. Oh God, I love Charlie too. He's a great guy. He said some interesting things. But those guys, Emmanuel, what's up? Those guys have never understood the markets as far as technology goes, and that's okay because they're incredibly good. They're incredibly good at what they do, which is being value investors. And real quick, Brandon, the Tyler Hero card. So I took the first one I got, I flipped it for $4.99. I then bought a lower serial number with profits from the other cards, and I flipped that one. So I flipped it was number 3337, so 3,337. I flipped that with the money from the other cards, moments, and I bought a number 137, which I sold for $1,270. So I netted, when it was all said and done. Mark, what up? I netted, when it was all said and done, $1,134 on my $14 pack. So that's where I'm on the house's money now. But yeah, off of the Tyler Hero, off of his moment, that kind of fadeaway 2-pointer as he was going out of bounds. Ella Paul, what's going on? Okay, let's see. WVS 2014, good to see you. Aldo, Michaela, good to see you. Mike, good to see you. Clayton, good to see you. Good to see everybody here. Hope you guys are having a great day. JJ, the whole team, the fam. Okay, so what is there to say about Bitcoin? Well, we're over 51K again. Now we're not at 58. My guess is we languish here for a week, maybe another week and a half, kind of like we did when we broke into the 30 range. We went all the way up to 37. No, sorry. We went to 42. We cut back down from 42. We got all the way back down to 30. The sky is falling. It's over. Game over. And then we slowly melted back up. Miso Theta, what's going on? We slowly melted back up. We ended up at in the 30 range for about 2 weeks. A lot of good sideways trading. And so when that occurred, again, selling options for most people, depending on how you played it. I love these sideways weeks because when the price goes way up and then way back down, the premiums in the options market get really big, and you can really take advantage of that if you're selling week after week. BP brother, what up? So premiums are back in the options market. So my guess is we see some similar behavior. I don't see any laser eyes. Yes. No compliant sheep in this bunch. I like how everybody's like, I'm a loner. I'm a rebel. I'm going to do exactly what every other mindless fucking gnome does on Twitter. That doesn't make you a rebel. Copying everyone else doesn't make you a rebel. If I have to wear a t-shirt, a printed shirt, one of 1,200 million thousand that says I'm a rebel, guess what? You're not a rebel. You're a fucking mindless lemming like all of the rest of these rubes. The first person that put laser eyes was the rebel. Everybody else is a mindless rube. Sorry. It's okay to be a rube. There's a lot. Listen, rubes are necessary in society. If you want to be a compliant rube, be a rube. Expat Matt, Scorpion, T Caldwell, what's going on? And let me say hello to Bitcoin Candy, Fish and Magician. What up? Why do the premiums increase? Good question. The premiums increase in the options markets because you have two parts of the value. So let's just take a call option, for example. Matter of fact, let me bring up the board so I can show you guys so that this makes sense. I hope I don't have to log in. If I have to log in, I won't do it because it's obviously you have to log in. Let me see. me see if I can get this puppy to, oh, son of a gun. Okay, can't do it. So here's the deal. Part of the options premium, right? The price you pay for a specific option is extrinsic value. That's a measure of how much time is left before the option expires, and the volatility. Why is that? Well, let's say a stock, let's think of it in terms, okay, Bitcoin. Bitcoin moves sideways, sideways, sideways. It never goes up. It never goes down. So the likelihood of it going up or down dramatically decreases. And if the volatility decreases, then the assumption of volatility decreases. Remember, options premiums are mostly assumption, the extrinsic value. That is everything past the current price, right? So let's say Bitcoin is at 51,000 and I'm thinking, okay, the 58,000, let's say the $60,000 call, a call option for $60,000. That gives you the right to buy Bitcoin at $60,000 at some certain point in time. Genius Mastermind, what's going on? Good to see you. AYT, good to see you. So let's say that the price has been at 51,000 for 7 weeks straight. The likelihood of it getting up to 60 is very unlikely because there's not been volatility. And so what happens is that volatility premium, that baked in assumption of volatility, it decreases among all of us. Common sense, right? You're like, this thing hasn't moved in months. It's not likely to be up and down like, you know, grandma's EKG on meth, right? So because of that, that part of that premium, so let's say this much is premium. Let's say that premium is $500. Well, it might have been, if Bitcoin was up to 60, down to 40, up to 60, down to 40, then it would be very likely that you would get called out on that premium would expire in the money. So the premium would be much higher, right? Does that make sense? So part of a premium is how much time you have left. Every day it depletes a little bit. Now it's not linear, right? What happens is it's like this, and then with 3 days left, it goes boo, right? When it's not likely that premium, that strike price could get touched, the premium just dissipate. Okay. And so some of it's psychology and some of it's, looking at charts and things like that. But essentially, the more volatile an asset is, the higher the premiums are, that extrinsic value, that expectation. So volatility equals premium. Time equals premium, right? And the closer to the money that strike price is also equals more premium, right? Because it's more likely that something that is close to the current price is going to expire in the money than something far out. It's more likely that the 52K or the $53,000 strike will be in the money, at a given time period than the $75,000 strike. And the price comes down accordingly. Okay, cool. Scott, good to see you. P. Kelly, Jimmy James, good to see all of you. Yeah, we had to start a little bit early because why? It's not a mic drop. It's a pack drop. Yes, premium pack. Son of a, I'm going to sign in again. I'm not going to get mad. I'm just going to keep doing this. It makes me do this over and over. Oh, God. Sorry that you have to all endure this. Okay. Got to get my packs. Antonio, what's up? All right. So make him moderator. Good. All right. Good to see you. Nick, Steve, Constantino, Sandy. Good to see everyone. If I haven't mentioned your name, Jason, Armin, good to see everybody. Okay. Let's keep it moving. Sylvia, what's going on? Mano, Philippe, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? All right. Let me get past this and let's get back to some prices. Okay. So anyway, that's options prices. That's why the premiums increase or decrease. Sweet. Okay. Let's keep it moving. Ethereum. We're going to talk about Ethereum today. $1,633. Ethereum is down about 1.1% on the day. It's still down 14.5% on the week. It's up and it's up on the month and on the year, but it's down recently for a variety of reasons. It got a little too hot, a little too quick is what it looks like. Nefers, what's up? Baykeeper. I have a lot of unopened boxes you can purchase. You have a lot of unopened stress relief. Do you have a lot of unopened NBA Topshots packs? If you have unopened packs, I will buy them from you. If you have boxes of baseball cards and crap like that, you can keep it. It's old school. Don't mess with that crap. Matthew, what's going on? Good to see you. SJO Theta TV, what's up? Okay, so what's going on with Ethereum? Well, it may be getting down to a point where the market is decided. Look at the success of Binance Coin. Look at which is 100% unlicensed security. I mean, they're not even trying to hide from it. But it's not basically available in the United States, not in any meaningful way. And Binance.us is a dumpster fire. That's the most illiquid piece of crap site ever. So CZ seized this opportunity. He's a smart guy. And he said, well, Ethereum's broken. I can take advantage of this before Polkadot and Cardano, Near, Avalanche, Cosmos, before they can launch in a meaningful way. I can get out the gate with this. So he's making money right now. My guess is his margins are going to erode fast as F the second that these other platforms launch in a meaningful way. But you know what? That's no time soon. Because even though Cardano had the hard fork yesterday, it goes into effect March 1st. Well, it's not like March 1st, 70,000 companies are going to launch. Then they have to start making the transition. They'll be working with the onboarding team over at IOHK and IOG and the Cardano Foundation and things like that. They'll be doing all that onboarding, but that's not instant. So I do think that there is a big chunk. Corey, what's up? Good to see you. There is a big chunk of that market, of the inefficient market that's been created by Ethereum's fee structure. That's a total goddamn dumpster fire that I think they will be able to take advantage of, and they are taking advantage of. What is this? Goose, fucking burger swap, Goose token. It lays eggs. You can nest. I mean, talk about just old raggedy tag bunch of bullcrap. But people are making money on it, and I'm not a hater. I hope you make money on all of these things that you invest in. Just be very careful, because those things can go to dust instantly. Now, the cool thing I will say, which is odd and awkward, there's nothing decentralized at all about Binance or Binance Chain or anything they do. It's 100% centralized and is probably perverted by some of the insiders. You know what? CZ will cut that check. What I mean by that is, CC, what's going on? Belinda, what's going on? He'll cut that check. If there's some kind of flaw, if there's some kind of rug pull, if there's some kind of anything, CZ is going to write a check. He's going to make everyone good. He's, SAFU or whatever this old bullshit that he says, because he has a lot on the line. If the reputation of Binance gets broken, that entire exchange and every part of it would unwind in about 2.5 hours. Those are fickle investors. Those are fickle traders. That whole fucking thing would come down like a house of cards if he lets one person lose $1. Now, should people lose money? Yeah. I mean, we can't all win, right? It can't just be winning. Everybody wins. Where's the money come from? Winning. Okay. But where did the fucking money come from if we're all winning? It comes from winning, dummy. Oh, okay. I got into it with some people yesterday. Not got into it. We were just discussing. Jesus Christ, Cardano's rocking. $1.17. Whew. That makes me sweaty. You guys know that that your winnings, that your proceeds come from somewhere, right? There has to be someone on the other side of the trade. Everybody doesn't just get showered with wealth. It has to come from somewhere. There has to be a hose filling up the pool for you to drink until you're fat and you vomit. Oh God. Yeah, I saw Secret Swap. Yeah, what a dumpster fire all this shit is, but that's fine. I hope some people make some money. Joe Pirate, good to see you. Aldo, what's up? They moved the drop to 12. God damn it. Did they really? Let me look. See, this is what sucks. They keep doing this. And then what it does is it gives more time for people to sign on, and then it's this lottery system, so none of us get these goddamn packs. Oh well. It is what it is. I don't got nothing to do at noon. I guess I'll be sitting here by the computer watching Cardano go up. Okay. Anyway, let me reduce all this back. There's a very obvious problem with Ethereum. It's probably part of the reason why this is coming down. I was on Unstoppable Domains, where I do a lot of domain squatting, and I was buying up some domains this morning. And to actually move them to the wallet costs more than the domains. I can own a domain, but I can't get it to a wallet to put it on the marketplace to sell it because it costs more than the purchase of a domain. So the way I look at it is that's stupid, and I just buy more domains. I can't stomach the idea of having the transaction fees cost more than the thing that I'm transacting. That's fucking stupid. So to me, that just, it makes my brain boil, and I'm like, nope. Tommy, good to see you. Vrelo, good to see you. So yeah, but the good thing, I guess, is that the fees are coming down because the price of Ethereum is down. We're still kind of technically in price discovery mode. I don't think Ethereum has found a price. We know that 2000 was a little too expensive for everyone. I got an email yesterday from Nexo where they said that they were suspending wallet transactions, the free transactions in and out of Nexo, because Ethereum fees were so high. Isn't that ridiculous? So yeah, I have probably some Ethereum that's stranded over there that was, I guess it'll be collecting interest until what, 2029 when ETH 2.0 finally launches. And it'll just be an Ethereum based porn site because there'll be nothing else. Everybody will have already ported away from it. Spirella McNabb, good to see you. Domain squatting brings no improvement to the ecosystem. Well, this is true. But the way I look at it, if I come up with a cool domain and someone else wants it for marketing, I've actually done part of the marketing job for them. I've refined their ideas and their focus. I sold a website for a Bitcoin last year at the end of February. It was a Bitcoin. I have to look at it, but it was a Bitcoin. But anyway, I'd had that website for years and I never did anything with it. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to put it out there. And then that's it. One Bitcoin. Yeah. Which I now collect interest on. So I'm getting that. So I'm still getting paid. All right. Let's talk about Cardano. It's $1.16. Yeah, it's getting up there. It's up 10.5% on the day, 26% on the week. The Mary hard fork occurred yesterday. It takes one epoch to go live. It will go live March 1st. You can expect a barrage of news, partnerships, agreements, little birdies, what have you, from Charles Hoskinson and the team, probably starting the eve of, well, there's one today. There's going to be an announcement today, which is just kind of a summation of how everything went with the hard fork combinator and yada, yada. It's going to continue on. I would not short Cardano. I would not play against them. I don't know if you guys were listening to the last AMA that Charles did, but he said that Gavin Wood had reached out to him and emailed him and said, hey, we should work together. And you realize if Gavin Wood and Cardano, between Gavin Wood, Charles Hoskinson, and Dan Gortzel, you want to get in the way of those three dudes, you will get fucking stomped. Those dudes will intellectually gut you. And I would not want to bet against these dudes right now. So I'm not touching my Cardano. I'm not doing nothing, just watching it. I'm very interested to see what the onboarding of that country looks like. I think it's Ethiopia. I think it has to do with identity management. 4 to 5 million people. No cryptocurrency project has ever done anything even close to that at all. Not even everything else that's been achieved. I don't care if it's Bitcoin or anything else. Everything else that's been achieved in crypto has been this idea that, hey, listen, there are these problems. Wouldn't this be a cool way to solve it? This will be the first time somebody is actively solving a problem. That hasn't occurred but what's good for the goose is good for the gander. This will be good for Bitcoin. This will be indirectly good for Polkadot and all of the other protocol layer solutions. Probably not great for Ethereum, but it is what it is. This is the way the world works. So I guess just pay attention to Cardano and what they might achieve. One of my things, here's the deal with Polkadot. Polkadot is a really ingenious project. Gavin Wood is a genius, right? He wrote Solidity, and now Substrate, and now and you have the whole idea behind Polkadot, which is the relay chain with all these parachains, and then these sub parachains that kind of float around somewhere between Polkadot and Kusama and all this. Yeah, cool, bro. The problem is, it's really freaking difficult to explain what the fuck Polkadot is to most people. They go, I think it's cool, but I'm not really sure exactly how it works. Do I launch in Kusama and then try to get an auction, go into an auction and get one of the relay chains? And then what if I'm competing? What if I do something that someone can fork off of? So there's a problem right now. It's called the lazy person fucking, there's like this whole problem with Polkadot where some companies don't want to do parachain auctions because they can just leverage other companies that do it and not have to lock up any tokens. Like, it's this whole thing. Anyway, I wanted to do probably a more of an episode on that specific problem, because it's a theoretical problem where basically people can sit on the sidelines, let you do all the work, and just plug in. Well, so that's an issue, right? And they've got to solve that. But I think it's more this. I just think that Polkadot needs to improve their messaging, their explanation of what it is they do, right? Let me say rare packs at 12. Okay, wait, but this isn't the rare pack. This is a premium pack. Is that what they're saying is the same thing? Oh, I guess it's also a rare pack, right? So we're saying the same thing. They're pushing it out to noon. Let's go look at their Discord. These dicks, man. Announcements. Quick update. The rare drop has been rescheduled for later today. Wah, 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 wah. Man. These guys. All right. Go back to announcements. Okay, so that'll be off. Well, that's fine. We'll carry on. We'll carry on with our line of questioning. Biddle, Baker, Cameron, Blaze, what's going on? Can you explain how Cardano has a live working product right now, minting, burning, batch swap, batch burn? Well, they have, there's a lot of live working products like token burning and minting and things like that, but you can't meaningfully launch assets right now until March 1st. It'll be available in dataless flight. And then I think probably maybe 2 epochs after that, it'll be available kind of for you and I to kind of spin off tokens, things like that. So, yeah, I think that's kind of the idea, is that they roll these things out. They work with them in the test net, make sure things are hunky dory. One thing about Cardano that I like, the project, they don't rush software. As you can tell, it's taken 5 years, 6 years to get here. But they just simply won't rush it. If it's not right, they won't rush it. They're not going to move fast and break shit. And some people are like, oh man, that's too slow. Well, it's not too slow if you don't like losing money. Like when a bunch of, when the DAO hack happened in Ethereum, the reason there is an Ethereum Classic, when, $60 million went poof, right? And then, God, that whole thing. Now there's an Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. Is code law, or do you protect the environment? They chose to protect the environment, so they forked Ethereum so that the people that had stolen what would now be Ethereum Classic couldn't make any money, but they did get to make money because they converted even though they stole 60 million, that 60 million was reduced to 8 million by the time they got it off. They mixed it, they washed it, they cleaned it. They got 8.5 million out, but apparently in terms of Bitcoin, and if those hackers were hodlers, guess what? They're rich, because it went up faster since then. It went up faster than Ethereum did. So they did okay. All right. Cool. So Polkadot's problem, for me, the issue with Polkadot is not of technology. It's a messaging problem. Can they meaningfully tell people what it actually does? The Dubai whale. I'll talk about that just for a second. So I think you're referring to the people from Dubai that are bringing $4.5 billion US dollars worth of Bitcoin into Miami. let me see. Let's see. We have someone that doesn't like Cardano. It's all hot air, just like Charles. No products, no services, no partners. You know what? I'm not going to hate on you, Biddle, Baker, Cameron Blaze. That is absolutely your opinion. I think you ought to maybe go take a look at their GitHub, at their repo. And I think if you understand software, you might change your mind. But that's on you. I'm guessing you also don't own any. I'm guessing you definitely didn't own any at 2 or 3 cents, probably not at 40 cents, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. It's $1.16. So I would just say that even if you're a great judge of the token and you say, listen, I can't build on it, I'm with you on that. You can't build on it. Either can I. And that's been one of my concerns for a long time. So I'm with you in that camp. But I would probably look a little bit closer at the team. And I would say, what would I compare this team to any other team? Right. And so, yeah, I mean, I think there isn't another team that meaningfully competes. And the stuff in DeFi, if that's what you're using, kind of like if you're saying, I can't build on Cardano, but look at DeFi, oof, that's a very, in my opinion, that's a flawed way to look at Cardano. Yeah. There will be tools built for DeFi on all of these layer 1 solutions. On all of these protocols, there will be ways to launch off your whatever your favorite random illiquid, prone to be nuked DeFi of choices. You'll be able to do all of that. So don't worry. And you can FUD all you want, because FUD is, if you're telling something that's true and it creates fear, uncertainty, or doubt, those are warranted emotions, right? You're not lying, right? You can't launch assets on Cardano right now. You can't. That's not a lie. So that's fine. I'm all for it. I don't think decentralized, flexible organizations affecting DeFi means anything, because DeFi is a tiny, tiny little space with a bunch of speculators that don't understand risk for the most part, and a bunch of people where insiders are pilfering the platforms with flash loans. You're not playing against the guy next to you in DeFi. You're playing against other designers that may or may not have worked on the platform, that are going back in and they're exploiting it through flash loans because it's unaudited junior ass code, and it's all in beta. So you kind of, get what you want. Cool. You bought art at $1. You don't want ADA. Cool. Listen, you gotta invest with your heart. Will ETH go up again? It's stuck around. Well, it's only been stuck around there for about 3 minutes. If you looked earlier, if you looked 10 minutes ago, it was different. If you looked an hour from now, it'll be different. Relax. You don't have to get rich today, Arno. You can get rich tomorrow. Everybody wants it all right now. Right now. I want it all right now. It's okay that it might take a few years for you to get all of the wealth and riches that you desire. Give it some time. Let's talk the XRP. Not been doing great lately. I think the reality is starting to set in, that until they get past this SEC stuff, it's just going to be an issue. And that's okay, right? It's okay that it may take a little while. I'm not saying XRP is dead. I'm saying it's dead right now. So a way I would look at it is, with XRP, it's another one of those things where would you rather keep your value, your currency units, where they're going to make the most? And so even if you believe in XRP, put your money in other places. Even if you just park it in Bitcoin, or park it somewhere. Hell, park it in one of these USDC over at Nexo and get 5-6%, something like that. Park it somewhere where you can at least participate a little bit in this market, because this market is basically up and to the right, except for a few assets. It is what it is. The other bridge asset, XLM, boop, it's at 42 cents. It's up to, we'll call it 3% on the day, still down on the week, up on the year, 630%. This is the thing. Look at the last year of XRP. This rally, it missed it. So I know there's all the dudes that are like driving John Deere tractors and they're like, I've got diamond hands, man. My bags are packed. I'm going to inherit the whole planet Earth and all this. I know you guys got sold a bill of goods and it sucks. And the reality is it might not make you as wealthy. You might not inherit the whole planet as a bag holder of 1,000 XRP. I know this sucks. It is what it is. There is a chance. I'm just going to throw this out there for you guys. I'm just lobbing it out there that maybe XRP doesn't hit $589 because a cartoon bear told you. No, not because a cartoon bear told you, because a picture of a cartoon bear next to a random ass fucking tweet told you. And no, that didn't even tell you. It took some dumbass on YouTube to distill the fact that that fucking bear was wearing socks one day with stripes on it. And the shirt, look at the shirt. That obviously means the IMF's going to fucking bend over and get the fuck out of here. I mean, the stuff that the XRP community, this is what boggles my mind. If you look at XRP and Ripple and you go, I think Ripple's going to do XYZ because they have banking relationships, that to me makes sense. That's a coherent argument. Okay. I think they have these relationships. They can leverage those. They can penetrate. It's good to move value units around. And if they can do this or that, yeah, cool. That all makes sense. Cartoon bears, riddlers, fucking pictures of castles, stupid ass shit. And not even that. They're not even saying anything. They're saying random shit. And then people are going in and be like, look at the one. It really looks more like an I. Look at those 4 blocks. That's just an M. That clearly means IMF. Where's the F? Well, there's no F. They're leaving the F off because they don't want to make it too obvious. Jesus Christ. How clever does it have to be? You know, what it is the Ripple community, unfortunately, they bought into a couple of other people driving around John Deere tractors that think they know what the fuck they're talking about, that they don't. Self-proclaimed fucking gurus, which they aren't. Me either. I don't know jack shit. But I made a lot of money in crypto because I'm open to the idea that I don't know jack shit. And I always ask questions and I read everything I can. And I constantly question, why could I be wrong? These compliant, very tribal communities, they're not willing to go, am I wrong about this? Is the cartoon bear lying to me? Is the Riddler not really speaking the truth? Is there a chance that the whole world doesn't switch over to Ripple and that I've made a huge fucking mistake leveraging my house to buy this stupid ass fucking asset? Is that even a possibility? Most people will just look at you. They'll look at you like you're crazy. They'll be like, you don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get how you're an adult. Listen, there's a certain point where I don't trust. Would you trust? Let's say there was a bus driver and the bus driver goes and he picks up your kids. I don't have any kids, but just let's pretend we have kids. And the bus driver, he believes in Santa Claus, like actually believes in Santa Claus. You think that guy's fit to drive a bus? Would you put your kids on that bus and the bus driver believes in Santa Claus? You'd be a bad parent. You'd be a worse parent than Liam Neeson in all those Taken movies. At a certain point, don't we have to just kind of come to, in those movies, like if there's a 4th Taken movie, doesn't Liam Neeson in the very beginning need to be talking to like a psychologist and saying, is there a chance that I'm just a bad father? Yeah. No one's kids get kidnapped 4 times, 4 fucking films in a row. The statistical improbability that I don't care who you are and how bad people hate you. They don't kidnap your kids 3 times. Come on, man. You're just a bad dad. And your mom's fucking bad too. She shouldn't let anyone go on. If he even mentions the word vacation, they should lock his ass up. Restraining order. Because every time he goes on a vacation, kids get kidnapped. Fuck out of here. All right. So the bridge asset space. I'm not sure how to price lumens. And I say this because I believe that quit taking my shit. That's funny. So with the bridge assets, I'm worried that with all of the swap functionality that's coming on all these platforms, we're not going to need bridge assets very much longer. I mean, I don't know if we need them now. Now we need them this second because they're more efficient it's more efficient to use XLM to move value than it is to use Ethereum-based assets, obviously, right? The fee paradox. But I don't imagine that lasts forever. I think that swaps on some of these other platforms like DOT, like Cardano, like Near, like you can go down the list, can't you? And so I think swaps will be a very normal thing, and they will be very inexpensive. And then we won't need swap assets. And when all of these governments launch their digital sovereign assets, well, why would you need another asset to be a part of that swap? It just doesn't make any sense. And then if you say, okay, banks are going to take on all these swap assets because they're banks, no, that's not how banks work. Banks don't hold swap assets. They have Nostro and Vostro accounts. That's where they hold those assets, but that's only because of the inefficacy of moving currency. So I'm not saying XRP or XLM are good or bad. I'm saying I think technology is passing them by, and we just won't need them. You won't need a bridge asset to do a two currency swap. If you're going digital US dollar to digital renminbi, you'll just do the swap instantaneously. You won't need to go to a third currency. And if you don't need that third currency, I got to tell you guys, that market on those two tokens doesn't exist. And I don't ever say anything could go to zero, but these things could be hoovered up to fucking dust. There are tons of tokens, even after the stupid ass token burn and even after the dumbass escrow, there's 50 billions of tokens. And I'm not sure if there's any real need. So I'm kind of worried that technology's passed them by. That's just my 2 cents. I am de-risking all of these bridge assets. And then you say, why would you de-risk? I say, well, what's the top and what's the bottom? Scorpion, what's going on, buddy? The Last Stoic, what up? So, yeah, exactly. The Last Stoic's a good point. I don't see banks letting that happen. I don't either. They're not just going to give up and be like, oh, crypto, you got us. 1-0. We're done. Pack it up, guys. Grab your shit. Get your desk. Unwind your desk. Get the fuck out of here. Okay. Cosmos. Adam. It's been having a pretty good run. It's up 165% on the 30-day. It's down on the week. It's flat on the day, but it had a really good run. It's still up 476, 477% on the year. We'll see. I'm noticing a trend with these kind of similar protocol layer solutions in that they seem to be able to climb up into the $20 to $30 range. So I guess I'm wondering, and again, circulating supply means something, total supply, total availability, it all means something, yes. Then you have to back out the tokens that get staked. I get it. But there seems to be this mental point that people are willing to pay somewhere between 20 and 40 bucks. So DOT, 34 bucks. Okay. Atom, 20 bucks. Neo, 42 bucks. You see, and these kind of weird psychological, these channels, these electric fences, there's all sorts of reasons why this makes sense. Well, think of it like this. When you look at a token that's beneath a penny, once it gets to a penny, in your mind, what do? Oh, this could get 5 cents. Why? We grew up with, if you're an American, or really most places, 1 penny, a nickel. Can you see that? A nickel, a dime, quarter, 50 cents. Our brains think in these levels. So, okay, it gets to a penny. It could hit 5 cents. It hits 5 cents. It could definitely hit 10 cents. It hit 10 cents. It could go to a quarter. It hits a quarter, 50 cents incoming. It hits 50 cents. It could go to $1. It hits $1. We do it again. Well, if it's over $1, it could go $2. It could go $5. We are conditioned to think in these units. Our brains go to these units. It's the same reason that Fibonacci retracements and all the technical analysis in the world, although it's silly, it does have a place. It is somewhat meaningful. Humans like fixed numbers. They like integers, they like whole numbers, and they like these kind of patterned numbers. Our behavior is formed at a very early age. I just think it's very interesting that these protocol layer solutions, regardless of their circulating supply, market cap, or how many tokens have been kind of warehoused through staking and things like that, they all find these kind of levels. It's something to take a look at. It's something to pay attention to. All right, let me say hello to Eileen and Brakuka or Brasuka, depending on how that's pronounced. Let me also say hello to Omar, Denise, Craigie, Michael, Steve, Haresh, Josh, Marcel, David, and Zumi, and Emery, Kyle. Hello to everyone. Hope you guys are having a great one. Okay, let's carry on down the list. Theta. Theta's interesting. It's down on the day, down on the week, still doing quite well. It's up 42, let's call it 43% on the month. It's still up 27, almost 2,800% on the year. That ain't nothing. That's not nothing. I think that's the cool guy way to say that. Philip, what's going on? Veritax, good to see you, by the way. I noticed you earlier, but yours was in, it was in blue, which is kind of badass. Constantino, what's going on, buddy? Ocean Dawn in the house. Sounds like a new hip Joe code named Bazooka, right? Brozuka. What's up, Brozuka? Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Brozuka. All these cool names. Frank, good to see you. Patrick, also good to see you. And of course, Brady. Brady never gets any respect, but he has the coolest tweets. You know, Brady's got the only tweets where you have to read them 14 times to figure out what he's trying to say. It's always clever. I'm not as clever as his tweets. Damn you, Brady. Matthew, good to see you. Yeah. And then let me say hello to Alex and Chelsea also. Okay. So what's going on with Theta? Well, we're waiting for we're waiting for this supposed rollout to Samsung and to see what that means. I guess there's new Samsung devices coming out, and as they come out, Theta will be a part of that in the same way that phones used to come with YouTube. So I'm very interested to see what that means. I don't know. I still don't know how to price Theta. In my mind, $2 seemed like a really good area, a good floor, and it popped up considerably from there. So bullish, right? And it's had a hell of a run. I worry that maybe it's had most of the run that it can have without some major news coming out. Libri, yeah, I saw that. And I tried to sign up for Libri because they sent me like 1,400 emails. And when I tried to import from YouTube, it said you don't have enough videos to do an import. You're like, I didn't qualify for their service. So LBRY, Libri, respectfully, fuck off. All right. You're too clever. All right. Neo, protocol layer solution, exposure to emerging markets, exposure to China, helicopter tech. There's an attack helicopter right there. Hath not no thing. Hath not no thing. I like that. I like that. So it's had a pretty good run. It's been flat as of late, but it's still up 281% on the year, 83%. It's exposure to China. It's the way I look at IOST. Also exposure to China, also protocol layer. Big country, lots of people, basically a big giant walled garden. So I would just say, you know, I like having exposure to that market that I know that I don't really understand. It's hard for us, you know, living in China or someone that's lived in China and been a part of that culture. They're going to have a much different perspective, much more relevant perspective than we are looking from the outside. But I do like to have exposure to it because you can't throw away, you know, billions and billions of people. I would love to have some kind of crypto exposure to India and to Pakistan if I could, but I don't even know where to go to get that. And they're booting everyone out. Okay. VeChain, also exposure to China. I like it. Supply chain, provenance. My only worry, this is my kind of tiny worry with VeChain, is I worry that a lot of what VeChain's trying to do may be solved with some of these NFT platforms and I guess I'm wondering where non-fungible tokens might be a more efficient mechanism to convey information than what VeChain is doing, but VeChain is going to get into token issuance and stuff like that too at some point. So we'll see, but I still own it and I like it. And I still buy $3 worth of VeChain every day. I've been doing it for years. I have a lot of VeChain. So it's been doing good, right? It's up pretty good. It's up almost 700%. So my $3 from years ago was now worth, like $21 a day. It's kind of cool. All right. Who knows what it'll look like in a year? Could you expose yourself to China on OnlyFans? Listen, I probably would do it. What is OnlyFans? Is that where all the pervy chicks from Instagram go? They're like, check out my OnlyFans. This is where I touch myself inappropriately, which I think is completely appropriate. All right. Let's look at Graph Token, indexing servers and tools so it's cool. A lot of people think Graph, I don't know if people are paying attention to how valuable Graph might be. Not only do they do a lot of work so that as a designer coming in, you can instantly kind of access the GraphQL and you have all of these data sources you can kind of plug into. But if you create a really cool indexing server, you can list it and you get paid fees for other people using it, which is super cool. So if you're doing, people that are doing research in that space and they're building in that space, they can offer up all sorts of things that can be utilized through the Graph network. So, and it stakes, and the staking rewards are dope. But let me warn you, if you stake, it's 28 days to unwind that. So when the price bangs up, like right now we're at $1.90, it's basically flat, but it's up 266%. We started covering Graph Token when it was at 30 cents, actually a little bit less, like 22 cents, but around 30, we said underneath 30 is where you buy it. Over 30, maybe not. Well, I guess that was good advice and bad advice because it's $1.90. It got up to $2.90 less than a month ago with the meteoric rise. But I think it's worth a lot more. Now, the price is always right. The price is $1.90, so the price is right. But I think it's undervalued. They announced that they're going to be working with, I believe, Polkadot, Solana. I'm sure they'll be working with Cardano to some extent. I think Near. So they are definitely spreading their proverbial wings, and I'm very excited about that. JDSGC, good to see you. Okay, so let's move on. IOST, protocol layer solution, exposure to China. I like it. I love it. It's cheap. It's real cheap. It's down 10% on the day. It is up, 850% on the year, but it's dust right now. It's dust. It's 4 cents. So if they do anything in China, and apparently they have a lot of support, where would you get this? I think somebody asked that. Where would you get IOST? If that question was asked, somebody did ask that. I saw that. Anyway, for those of you that are looking for IOST, you can get it on gate.io. And if you want a discount thingy in the details of the video, there is a coupon where you get 20% off your trading fees. So, which is cool. So it's kind of an affiliate thing, but kind of not. You get discount. You don't get like money, but you get discount on your fees. Discount's cool. Okay. And then, especially when the fees are so ridiculous for Ethereum right now. So yeah, keep that in mind. Okay. And then finally, Near Token, again, protocol layer solution, Coinbase Ventures, A16Z. By the way, I don't know if anybody knows this, Andreessen Horowitz, their A16Z is their venture firm. And I was like, where does the 16 come from? And so I was counting up the letters. Andreessen Horowitz, between A and Z are 16 letters. Did anybody else do that? Did anybody else count that up and be like, I bet that's where the 16 came from? A, 16 letters, Z, and then the letters in between, Andreessen Horowitz. No one? Am I the only one that's that weird? All right. Anyway, Near Protocol. I think this thing is way undervalued. It's priced appropriately, but I think it's way undervalued. I think this thing is going to fucking skyrocket. Why? Because Coinbase Ventures, dude. And it's hard to get, dude. And it's going to show up on Coinbase, dude. And half the projects on Coinbase that are being pumped by Coinbase Ventures are porting over to it, dude. This is Coinbase's Ethereum. Do you guys see what's happening? They are now valued at $77 billion. Yeah. They turned in a huge ass profit. Yeah. They are trading. And this is interesting. I want to point this out to everyone. They're doing a direct listing, which is usually non-dilutable. That's what I thought. I did a little digging. Did you know that the SEC changed the rules on direct listings where you can do a direct listing and you can dilute and issue new shares to a portion of those shares? Did you guys know that? I bet you didn't. Yeah, it was a little SEC rule change, a little quiet little rule change in December. So even though they're doing a direct listing, which usually benefits the early investors because they're just basically just selling out. This is an exit for them. You need to keep this in mind. A, they deserve it, but B, this is an exit for the investors in Coinbase. This isn't the beginning of I don't want to say it's the end, but I'm pretty sure that the people at Coinbase know that the best days are maybe behind them. And I just want to throw this out there. I think mergers are coming. I think acquisitions are coming, takeovers, and also probably a pretty good slew of bankruptcies with the smaller exchanges. I would be very cautious if you were going to enter buying the Coinbase stock, which I think on the secondary market right now is trading in the $325 to $375 range. I would be very careful. Yes, expat Matt, that's my contention, is that they are either going to get bought out or they are going to be completely disintermediated by well-built decentralized exchanges. We're just not there yet. I also think all these lending platforms are going to go away. All of them. And nobody wants to hear that. No, shut up. No, that's ridiculous. No, it's not ridiculous. Look at the history of banking. Small banks get amalgamated into bigger banks, get amalgamated into bigger banks. Right now, central banks are at war with every other bank because they think, and this is flawed, but they think that the reason they can't affect monetary policy in any meaningful way is because all these rural and provincial banks are just doing their own thing. Shadow banking system, they're doing their own thing. Financial institutions doing their own thing. So if you're a central banker, a real central banker, not like the Fed, because the Fed is not a central bank. It's a monetary authority, if you believe that. They're not a central bank. But central bankers, right? IMF all the way on down, the ECB and things like that, they believe that their monetary powers are muted because of what smaller banks can do. So I believe they are slowly, this is not like a conspiracy theory, it's just kind of like follow the obvious money. They are engineering low interest rates for longer to crush smaller banks, to make them Bear Stearns their way up into bigger companies. You guys remember, Bear Stearns, they're really big, they get nuked, they get hoovered up into what? Oh, Chase, JP Morgan Chase. Companies that weren't insolvent were forced to merge. Can you believe this shit? Go back and look. There's a good argument that the meltdown in 2007, 2008, and the fallout all the way to the housing market in 2012, that most of that benefited banks at the top because they got to melt the assets of these smaller banks upward, right? It was an upward collapse, bottom-up collapse. And that when they took on all these assets, and you could say it's under better management for sure, but different management, you basically took away your competition because now you're not competing with all these smaller banks. And when you push out, because look, when the Fed cracks their interest rate at a certain point, you have to understand this. The interest rate, look at the Fed funds and look at the yield curve that the Fed has. Everybody talks about the yield curve. I know we're on a sidetrack, but it's important. Yield curve control, flattened, lower, longer, flatter, blah, 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 right? In the 10 years up today. And everybody's like, oh shit, it's up. It's still down from where it was 10 years ago, but it's up. Okay. When the Fed controls the short end of the yield curve, the idea is that the rest of the curve behaves accordingly. And then they go to the long end of the yield curve, past the 10-year up to the 30-year, and they buy those government notes to flatten the curve, right? They buy it down, they buy it down, they buy it down. Flatter. Why? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, the idea is if you flatten the yield curve, you inspire people to take that money to entice animal spirits and go out into the economy and risk, take some fucking risk to inspire growth, to expand the economy, to get the machine churning again, right? And that private industry is always more clever than government. Therefore, the private dollar, the private capitalist dollar will have more efficacy in market expansion, in expansion of the greater economy, right? That's the idea, one of the ideas. The other idea, one might say, is, well, if you make it unprofitable or impossibly improbable for banks to exist with tiny, tiny little fees, then maybe those banks go under and you can absorb those assets. Another thing, the Fed is stuck now because the Fed, everybody's stuck, not just the Fed. Interest rates have to stay low because if they get above about 3.5%, the government can't roll over its debt. Guess who else can't service their debt? Corporations that have been selling their debt and buying their stock and selling their debt and buying their stock. And it sounds a lot like a Ponzi scheme because guess what? It's a fucking Ponzi scheme. Any company you invest in, do a little digging. If they buy their own stock back, it's a fucking scam. Period, point blank, end of fucking story. It is a scam. They buy their stock back. They cook the books. They pay themselves ridiculous rewards on options. Oh, well, what happens when it goes the other way? This is where it gets fun. When those companies get downgraded below triple B, we talked about this yesterday. When their corporate debt gets downgraded below triple B, which is the last tier of investment grade debt. Once it drops, double B, look out below. Now you're in the junk market, baby, where there's only $1 trillion worth of buyers. You went from a tier where there's $5 trillion worth of money floating around to buy that debt to a tier where there's 1 trillion, right? Or if there were 5 buyers, there's 1 buyer. What else? Pension funds have to unwind. They can't own your shit. So what happens when pension funds start offloading all that debt? They can't own it legally. Uh-oh. Look out below. Companies that were buying their own stock and making more money and then selling debt, buying stock, selling debt, buying stock, Ponzi scheme goes the other way. It unwinds. Now you're at the top of the hill and you peak and now you're going down and you're in a car with no brakes. There's no getting off, dude. You want to see what unwinds look like? We haven't really seen it yet, but you better bet it is fucking coming. And it's going to be gross and it's going to be awesome. And you just wait. It's going to be delicious. A lot of these companies, some that have been downgraded, but these ones that are just doing this scam. So this is the whole market has become weirdly risk takers, right? So they're basically, another idea is, you flatten the yield curve, you make companies go take risks. But what do? They end up taking leverage. So a pension fund need to manage bringing in. So the inputs and the outputs have to at least be equal, right? For a hedge fund. For a pension fund, money coming in from employers, employees, and taxes versus money going out, right? In the form of, your benefits. Right? Whether that's annuities or, one-time payments or disbursements. Does that make sense? So a pension fund on the aggregate has to do 7.5% plus. They have to maintain 7.5% in the positive each year. Well, they're not doing that. Well, if you used to go to the government debt market and you could get that pretty much risk-free kind of return. Well, you can't get anywhere near that. One, yield curve can't go above 3.5% because the government can't pay its own debt back without printing tons more money, which jacks up yields, which they can't pay back, right? That spirals out of control. Corporations can't pay their debt back, and they've just been living off of that. So what happens when they can't service their own debt? They have to become net sellers of their stock, which lowers the value, and then everybody sees that, and their debt gets downgraded, and right? So that all starts to unwind. That's doom. What do they call it? Doom loop, doom vortex, whatever your doom, death spiral liquidity story of choice is. So these things start to all unravel together. So the Fed can't get rates up above, well, they can't let them get up above a certain point. They can't get up above about 3.5%, which means they have to come and they have to do this kind of balance, this treasury financing operation where the treasury creates a bunch more government paper. They put it out there. The Fed finances the prime brokers to go and buy it. And the Fed buys a little bit of it onto their balance sheet, again, with bank reserves, which aren't real money. So this weird little kind of Ponzi scheme, it's happening everywhere. The banks and the pension funds that can't make any money because the yield curve is flat are forced to go take more risk. And sometimes to make that 7.5%, so you're a pension fund, you got to hit 7.5. You're like, we can't, there's no safe investments. Well, what about this thing over here that's paying 1.5%? Couldn't we just take 5x leverage? Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that does get us to 7.5%. Cool, that's all we got to do. Yeah, sounds good, except if the market sells off by just 20% ever, like a total of 20%, poof, you're at zero. You've been eliminated. You've been terminated. You don't exist. Does that make sense? If you take 5x leverage in order to get to 7.5% and you lose 20%, well, 19.9, it's all gone. Collateral problems. If you do some digging, I'll give you some homework. You do some digging into the mortgage, the MBA, the MBS market, mortgage-backed security market. Everybody was blaming us. They fucking blamed us. Oh, Bernanke, don't go out and take loans you can't afford. Shut the fuck up, you fucking dick. This guy's such a piece of shit. He's such a clever fucking liar. It wasn't us taking loans. It was illiquid fucking collateral. It was shitty collateral and repo. It was bad collateral. And yes, there was some side effects of that where people were getting loans they shouldn't have, but they were getting them thrown at them. And should strippers have 5 houses? Probably not, right? Loans on loans on loans on loans. Yes, there was bad behavior, but it wasn't strippers with 5 houses that ruined the MBS market. It was very bad collateral and an illiquid US dollar that nuked the market. It was mortgage-backed. It was the allowing of garbage securities, not just mortgage-backed, but allowing of all sorts of securities to be backed by garbage collateral. Because if I take garbage collateral and I trade it in some horse trade for good collateral, I can post that good collateral. And people go, wow, look at that. You have some treasuries, you have some pristine collateral. But it's been collateralized by dog shit. And guess what? It too, by the transitive property, is dog shit. So things they're not always as they seem. Also, there's some huge problems in repo. I urge everyone to go look at the repo market and try to understand the repo market. Because when you understand what's going on in repo, that's the biggest funding market in the world, things start to make a lot more sense. A lot more sense. So anyway, that's my little spiel. We're probably not going to get this pack that I was hoping for because, as I've been told, this ain't happening today until noon. So I'll try to record it, and then I won't open the pack until tomorrow. We'll open it on the show if we can. And just as a review, the last pack we got, we bought it for $14. We sold all the cards. We took one of the Tyler Hero cards, flipped it for a lower number Tyler Hero card, which we then sold. And when all that was said and done, we made net $1,134 for that $14 pack. So yeah, cool, right? For some stuff that doesn't even exist. We're having fun. Okay, the Clubhouse party is just getting started. We're going to get started with that show, which we've been building a really great room over on Clubhouse. So for those of you that are watching through Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, whatever, obviously thank you. But please come over and check us out in Clubhouse, because then it's not a one-way conversation. You don't just have to listen to me yammer on the whole time. You can listen to other people yammer on, or you yourself can yammer on. And yammering, man, that's all my poor, insolvent, strung out on crack grandmother ever does. Don't do what she does.